Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna kind of do Brian from Bookish style hodgepodge video. I'll maybe call it like a Mish Mash, flim flam, I don't know. I know Steve Donahue does his double stuffed, mega stuffed, sorry, videos too. Just kind of like a whole lot of stuff mixed in. I don't really have a lot of time to make multiple videos. Got a few things to say, but not really a ton. The majority of the video is going to be a kind of just a wrap up of my week. But firstly, I'm going to dedicate this video to Noah from Everybody Who Reads It Must Converse. Just a very nice surprise today when I was mentioned in his channel recommendations video that he put up, and I'll link below. He also mentioned way better channels than this, so you should definitely check those out. I'll leave the link below and watch this video. And also definitely, if you haven't subscribed to Noah, subscribe to Noah. He's an absolutely fantastic channel, good fun, much better beard than I have. I'm just kind of growing in my winter beard right now. But yeah, like, definitely check out his channel and all his recommendations, and lots of people who comment on his channel too. Let's check those channels out. But anyway, yeah, I guess it's been a bit of a weird week, a pretty stressful, hard week at work. Trading someone again, and just busy. And it's kind of one of those workplaces that if you get behind and stuff, it's hard on everybody, and there's emotions and tempers run and frustrations and stuff. So I've kind of been feeling pretty miserable. I kind of had a little bit of a rundown cold or something too, so yeah, I've just kind of been feeling pretty miserable all week. Haven't done a ton of reading, but it's actually been a pretty good reading week for me. Firstly, I hit a wall with the Penguin History of Canada, which is fine. I kind of knew it was going to happen. I kind of don't think one volume histories of like a country, I mean, like when you're dealing with such a large period of time, I don't think there's something for me, or at least not just reading one thing. I will go back to it, I think, but I think I'll just do little chunks at a time. And when I'm mixing it up with more specific reading of that time frame, I just hit a point where I'm like, it's just too brief, and I was like, I want to know more. I want to know more about that and that and that and that and stuff. And I think non-fiction really brings out a really the obsessive part of my brain about, I just gotta read more in depth about everything before I can move on to the next thing. And so I'm thinking much when I'm reading history, much prefer more keyhole kind of history, more like very in-depth look at a very small time frame. So basically, because I was like feeling really down and tired and didn't have a lot of reading time, but kind of wanted to really just enjoy it, and just like I just didn't really have the mental capacity to concentrate on any non-fiction reading that I really wanted to do. I did cheat on non-fiction November, and I started back to some fiction reads. Firstly, I tried to go back to French Exit by Patrick DeWitt, and I started this back in March, and I've been trying to read it ever since, just dip in here and out. It's very short chapters and stuff, which is quite nice to dip in and out of. And it's pretty well written book. It's kind of a satire of New York elites, but I just can't get into it, and I just can't connect with it in the way that I want to. It's also not the kind of laugh out loud funny book that I was hoping. Like, I started reading this in March because I wanted something light, and I don't have a ton of like light comedic novels and so this is one of the few. I thought I'd give it a try, and I'm just not connecting with it at all. I think I've kind of officially given up on it for now, and maybe I'll try and read it next year or something. But yeah, I think maybe a kind of acerbic satires of New York elite or upper crust. That's just, I think I've read so many of them that, and I think maybe I would have liked this much more in my late, like about 10 years ago. I think I would have enjoyed this more. But I think my life's moved on, and I probably much more rather read just a bit more of a uplifting story about working class people, or just kind of a more of a buck up your shoelaces kind of comedy, rather than this kind of scathing send up of New York elites. But it's not a bad book, and I definitely, if someone said this, they really enjoyed it and really liked that, I would definitely be intrigued and want to know why, and definitely could probably understand why they did. But yeah, I just wasn't connecting with it. So I think I'm not bailing on it per se, but I'm officially giving up on reading it for this year. Maybe next year or something. But I think I'll keep all of it for now. So that was that, and but then I picked up Elizabeth Smart's light. I have a terrible hangover. Got good lighting in the book room here. By Grand Central Station, I sat down and wept. This Canadian author, but this book was published in 1945. Really good Fourth Estate, really nice Fourth Estate paperback. It's got like the French flaps stuff. I think it cost like $12. So yeah, really, I believe it's a UK publishing company. But really nice. Really nice cover, great picture of Grand Central Station there. But yeah, this was, I picked this up for the KD Books book club on Discord, and I'll try to leave a link below and you can still join. I think it's kind of starts in December really. It's kind of ongoing, but I kind of, it was one of those ones where I kind of read the first page, read the first sentence, read the first page, read the first part, and just really got kind of lost in it and immersed in it's a very poetic book. It's essentially just a poetic stream of consciousness about obsessive love, like really obsessive love, but it's quite beautiful just to get lost in that and have the kind of the waves of language just wash over you, and it's actually kind of the perfect book for me to read this week. I definitely kind of saw a bit of myself in it. I mean, I'm not quite as far gone as she is in this book, but I definitely have obsessive tendencies when it comes to some things, and I definitely am often lost in my own thoughts, and so that kind of stream of consciousness, especially kind of a more poetic, kind of really blends with me. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that, and it's kind of like, it kind of reminded me of some other Canadian books that I really enjoyed but I wouldn't recommend, or at least Canadian author books. So yeah, it was a great addition to my my Canada shelf, and I'll keep it, and I'll probably reread it every couple of years or so. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then I also started reading Lonely Londoners by Salvon. Yeah, Salvon. And I'm thinking about like 6 pages in or something, but I'm really enjoying it. It's so he's West Indian and he moves to London, and it's kind of I think he moves just before kind of like the big Windrush. Yeah, is kind of welcoming some of the kind of Windrush generation people over, and it's kind of written in a kind of London patois kind of style. It's not quite, it's like it's proper English. It hasn't quite got the full-on patois, but it's the phraseology is when you read it, especially if you I subvocalize all the time, so especially if you do that, you really get the feel of the West Indian voice. It's actually very familiar. It's great. It's actually really comforting. Kind of bringing back like a flavour of the UK that I kind of miss. And yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. Even though it's like set in the 50s, I'm really enjoying it so far, and probably read it again tonight. Read more tonight, and I'll probably maybe finish it. And so yeah, it was quite good reading week. For me, I finished the book, and only took me a couple of hours. I've only been reading about an hour a day, and then yeah, started a new book. And what else have I done? I got a few books in the mail. 2 are definitely booktuber buys, and another one's just kind of something I spotted. So the first one, I'll get the fiction out of the way. The first one I bought because of Sean the Boat Maniac. If you've watched his channel, you definitely have seen this, and he really loved it. But also did a really great interview with the author. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. I'll try and leave a link below. If I remember all the links I'm going to leave. So it's The Tainted by Covery Madhaven. Sorry, terrible pronunciation probably. But it's a novel set in India concerning the mutiny of an Irish division of the army in the 1920s. So they mutinied because they heard of the atrocities committed by the Black and Tans in Ireland and during the Irish War I guess it was the Irish Civil War, I guess, at that point in the 1920s. My Irish history is quite terrible, but yeah, it's either the Irish independence or the led into the Irish Civil War. So the Black and Tan atrocities, they mutiny, and then it's also about the Irish Indian offspring of those soldiers as well, because obviously they coupled with some Indian women and produced these kind of mixed race kids that were also ostracized from both Indian culture and Irish culture. So I'm very interested to read this. It sounds amazing. Sean loved it, and I think some of our tastes meld quite well. And so yeah, excited about that one. And then the next one I bought because of Peg over at the History Shelf. This is A Rope from the Sky, and by Zach Verton. And this is concerning the fairly young country of South Sudan, and kind of just like what's going on there. It was basically, since it had a referendum to have independence, it's basically been in the civil war for I think 10 years. I think it got its independence from the rest of Sudan, and so about 10 years of bloody civil war. And I think just at the start of this year, there was a ceasefire and some power sharing deals established. So hopefully that's the situation will calm down. But I think this is going to be a very good insight into what is the situation on the ground, and what each of the sides is about and what they want and why the Civil War broke out and all that. And yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how how something that was very hopeful descended very quickly into a very bad situation for just the regular people. And hopefully there's some positivity about the future. Really hope the situation is sorted out to bring peace to the region, and where people can start rebuilding their lives and hopefully prosper. So yeah, I'm just very interested in South Sudan. I've kind of definitely been following it in the news where I can. But yeah, I'm very excited for that bit of non-fiction. Not sure when I'll start reading it. Maybe reach out to Peg for a buddy read or something. And then this one I just kind of saw. There's so much non-fiction books that I want. I mean, there's so many fiction books that I want right now as well, but there's just so many non-fiction. But this one just was like fit right into my wheelhouse, and it concerns a period that I'm just like kind of obsessed with, still been obsessed with for a long time. But this is the Jakarta Method by Vincent Bevins, and it basically concerns the probably lesser known situation in the Cold War in 1965. Basically the CIA helped the Indonesian military to murder about 1 million people, and it was basically a bid to try and rid Indonesia from the Communist Party. And it also then led to similar actions in Brazil and probably most famously in Chile in 1973. And yeah, so it's gonna be hard-hitting. It's gonna be quite the expose on the CIA and the US government during the Cold War, I think. And yeah, and this what I like about this sort of thing is Vincent Bevins is a journalist. He's worked for the Washington Post and LA Times and the Financial Times in London, and I think with this kind of book and this kind of expose, I think I much prefer to read it from a journalist than say someone that's just like a political scientist or just straight up someone on like the extreme left or something, like socialist or something. I think these are usually much better when it's a journalist with kind of like the fact checking and sources and kind of a bit more objectivity, maybe less likely to be just straight up angry. I mean, I don't mind a very angry political polemic non-fiction or fiction, but sometimes it's nice just to have more of the journalist approach. And so yeah, I'm very interested to read this too, and I'm really not sure when I'll get around to any of these books, but yeah, I think I'll try and squeeze in another non-fiction for non-fiction November. Maybe here on out as well. I think starting probably next month and throughout 2021 I'll try and read about half fiction, half non-fiction as well. It's hard to say though. Like I said, it's the mental. It's not that it's easier to read fiction over non-fiction. I definitely get a lot of pleasure out of reading non-fiction. I think it takes up a lot of more brain power and a lot more wanting to really get the facts straight and in my head. Well, especially this kind of like it's gonna be more fact heavy non-fiction, like something like a biography or something, or more of a memoir rather than biography. I would probably could read more when I'm tired and stuff. But yeah, because I've been so tired, I might end up reading more fiction. But I'm gonna try my best to try and read some more non-fiction, because I do really enjoy it. And every time I read a non-fiction book, I really enjoy that. I don't know why I don't read more. And there's so many. The thing with non-fiction is it tends not to hang around in the publishing world so much. Like it doesn't have as longer a life, and often there's a lot of books don't actually even get to paperback. So it's be nicer to just like get some of these non-fiction books when they come out and before they disappear, and get them read. But hopefully if the guy that I'm training works out okay, I'll start getting some Saturdays off as well, which means I will be able to have some trips to the library, which might also help me to read some more non-fiction too, because definitely just get out of the library rather than having I do also realize that one of the reasons I don't read as much non-fiction is if you're buying new books, non-fiction books tend to be a bit more expensive, especially if you're having to buy them on hardback. I find sometimes you can get the fiction books hardback for like $30 Canadian, but a lot of the times the non-fiction can really just be like $40. So it's a bit of a difference. And then fiction, you can definitely just wait around for it to come out and pay back, and sometimes even mass market paperback, which you're talking between $10 to $20. So yeah, that's definitely a factor too. But yeah, hopefully I can get to the library again at some point. That would be really nice. And then what else is there to? Oh, did I mention? It was a good week for Scotland. Douglas Stewart won the Booker Prize with Shuggie Bain. So yeah, that was exciting. I'll definitely have to get to reading that and watch some interviews with him as well. And I have to say, Douglas Stewart is quite the handsome man. But yeah, I'm very excited to get to that eventually. So I think I feel like I definitely have to read it now that it's won the Booker Prize too. I don't generally pay that much attention to the Booker Prize, but I do kind of find it funny people's reactions to it. Every year, so many people are disappointed, and then other people are like, well, it's a good outcome, and yeah, it's just a mixture of emotions and stuff and reactions. But generally, there's usually a vocal, at least minority of people who are really annoyed, which I was kind of funny. Especially as a lot of Booker Prize books really don't even hang around that long. I've not read that many, but I definitely remember reading Vernon Godlittle by D.B. Pierre back in what would have been early 2000s maybe. He won the Booker Prize, and it was, remember it being kind of controversial at the time, and yeah, like who reads D.B. Pierre now? I can't remember the last time I heard anyone mention Vernon Godlittle. It was an alright book. It was quite fun. It was quite a scathing look at America, I guess. But yeah, like who even reads that book now or mentions D.B. Pierre or read any of his other books? But yeah, so yeah, the Booker Prize was quite funny, and the other thing was the National Book Prize was announced, and it's quite interesting to see that Charles Yu won with The Interior of Chinatown. Kind of interested in reading that. Kind of seemed like an interesting book to read before that, but now that it's won, even more interested to see. But definitely the real exciting the really exciting news from the National Book Award that I haven't really seen anyone mention on the channel. I mentioned anyone on their channels and BookTube. But the non-fiction award went to what's it called? The Dead Are Rising. It's the biography of Malcolm X. That Steve Donahue really raved about and said it was actually was one of the only biographies that really brought Malcolm X as a person, as a whole, complete, complex person, really properly to life. So yeah, I'm very excited to definitely read that. I think Malcolm X is a very intriguing historical person, a very important person, kind of maybe a little bit misunderstood. Definitely he went through a lot of changes. I think it's a lot more relatable to a lot of people than say someone like Martin Luther King, who obviously is incredibly important to the civil rights movement, but also it's kind of a little untouchable. Like he's very, I know there was the allegations about with the women, but he's a very godly man, very holy, very straight cut. Whereas Malcolm X was a bit more of a hustler and kind of only really came to religion and the civil rights movement when he was in prison, and when the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad reached out to him, and he kind of converted to Islam at that point and became radicalized. But yeah, I think definitely very important part of the 60s, and I think Malcolm X was probably much more influential on the subsequent civil rights movements of the 70s, especially the Black Panther Party. Even though Malcolm X did go towards non-violence, did kind of at the end really did make him. He kind of reached out an olive branch with Martin Luther King and kind of started adopting a non-violent approach. I think his heyday though was really much more influential to the Black Panther Party. But yeah, I'm very interested. I really want to read that book. But other than that, other non-fiction books that really grabbed my attention, there's a Willie O'Ree biography that came out recently. Willie O'Ree was the first black player in the NHL. Played for Boston. I think was it debuted in either the late 60s or early 70s. Can't quite remember, but yeah, really interested to hear about his life. And I think it's out already, but there's the latest book by Ken Cuthbertson. I think he wrote The Halifax Explosion, the book down there that I have. It's a bit far away to just grab, but yeah. See, he wrote, his latest book is called 1945, the year that shaped, I think it's like 1945, the year that shaped modern Canada or something. And it's basically explaining or arguing that 1945 was a pivotal year in kind of major changes in Canada. Really shaped, really kind of led to shape, really shaped what is now modern Canada in terms of, I think, makeup, because definitely post-war Canada accepted a lot of refugees from World War II, specifically Jewish refugees, and the fallout from the war definitely led to Newfoundland joining the Confederation of the Dominion of Canada, I think it was called at that point. And so yeah, I haven't really looked into it too much, but I believe that's kind of the central argument. There's a really interesting book that was looking at the international brigades during the Spanish Civil War, and just how I can't remember the author or the name of the book, but it had a really great cover. But it was basically just looking at the various international brigades and that came to fight in the Spanish Civil War, and really kind of bringing the Spanish Civil War into context of a kind of more of a mass working class proletariat conflict on the side of the definitely on the side of the Republicans against the fascist Franco forces. And so yeah, I'm really interested in reading that. Hopefully I can get a copy. I'm not really supposed to be buying books right now. I've got so many expenses and lots of house stuff and that. But I think maybe I can stretch a little bit. I am expecting a couple more books actually that I got from Verso Press. Specifically, there was one about black working class in the UK, which looks very interesting, and another one about black women in in Britain, which I think was originally written in the 1980s, but it's a seminal text, and just need to read that. Other than that, what else has been going on in the world? Just a lot of politics and a lot of kind of COVID updates and stuff. We're definitely getting a lot of numbers up in here in Canada. I know Toronto and some surrounding areas are going into lockdown on Monday. I'm okay here so far. I think we're kind of close to Ottawa, which is spiking, but just in the region, I think we're okay. I'm pretty much okay because I literally just go to work and that's it. I don't do anything else. But yeah, I hope everyone is safe where they are, and I know a lot of people are cancelling their Thanksgiving plans down in America this week. And so I know it's going to be a bit of a weird Thanksgiving this year, but I hope everyone can make it work for themselves whilst keeping everyone safe. I think that's just the most important thing, is to not be complacent and wanting to see people, but end up putting everyone at risk. I know it's hard. I've definitely have been struggling a lot of the year with being so distant from my family. I'm lucky enough that I have my in-laws in Toronto, so I've seen them a couple of times at like distance and stuff, but definitely struggling not to see my own family, my blood family, and it's been a good couple of years since I've seen my parents, and probably about four plus years since I've seen my sisters. So yeah, I've definitely been struggling a bit with that, and I haven't seen my friends. It's been 4 years since I was back in the UK, so I haven't really seen anyone since then. And yeah, definitely been missing a lot of people. I've been missing Scotland and the UK a lot. But it's just gonna be one of those things where we have to accept, and hopefully some point in the near future we'll be able to get about and travel and meet up more. But yeah, in the meantime, we just gotta keep safe, and I hope everyone's well. And I think I'll probably just wrap up this video now. Don't want to make it super long, but hope that everyone takes care, has a great week, has a great Thanksgiving down in America, and I think we still have a lot to be thankful for this year. But even though it's been tough, we have made it this far, and it's gonna be 2021 soon. New year, new beginnings. Hopefully, new hope. And everyone have a great week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.